How to agree or disagree. Talking about your opinion. Expressions. Which is correct? Saying your opinion. The way I see it. The way I know it. Correct is the way I see it. In my opinion. In my belief. Correct is in my opinion. We can say it's my belief that, but it's usually used in formal speech or writing. As far as I'm afraid, as far as I'm concerned. Correct is, as far as I'm concerned. If you ask me, if you convinced me. Correct is, if you ask me. I believe, I consider. Correct is, I believe. We can say I consider, but it has a different meaning and can't always be used. It's also quite formal. It's only used with him or myself. I consider him my friend. I consider myself quite smart. Or that. I consider that English is easy. Asking someone's opinion. Can you agree? Do you agree? Correct is, do you agree? Would you agree? Should you agree? The correct is, would you agree? What's your idea? What's your think? Correct is, what's your idea? We can say, what's your thinking? What are your beliefs? What are your thoughts? The correct is, what are your thoughts? Belief is usually something that doesn't change. Your thoughts, your thinking can change. How do you feel about that? How do you think about that? The correct is, how do you feel about that? If we use think, we must use what. What do you think about that? Agreeing. You're absolutely right. You're very right. Correct is, you're absolutely right. That's exactly how I feel. That's right how I feel. The correct is, that's exactly how I feel. I couldn't agree more. I might not agree more. The correct is, I couldn't agree more. I might not agree more has the opposite meaning. It means that maybe you don't agree 100%. That's so right. That's so true. The correct is, that's so true. You have a point there. You have a position there. The correct is, you have a point there. We can also say, you have a good point there. Disagreeing. I am not think so. I don't think so. The correct is, I don't think so. I beg to differ. I beg to disagree. Correct is, I beg to differ. It's a little old-fashioned and mostly used by British people, but Kiwis use it a lot too. I beg to differ. I really disagree. I totally disagree. The correct is, I totally disagree. I'm not agree about that. I'm not sure about that. The correct is, I'm not sure about that. That's not always true. That's not always factual. The correct is, that's not always true. Factual is a word that's used in formal speech or writing, so we wouldn't usually use it with always. We would usually be more formal. That is not factual. Expressions. Let's review. When you're stating an opinion, you can say, the way I see it, the way I see it, in my opinion, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I'm concerned. If you ask me, I believe. When you're asking for someone else's opinion, you can say, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? What's your idea? What's your idea? How do you feel? How do you feel? Do you agree? Do you agree? Would you agree? Would you agree? When you're agreeing, you can say, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. That's so true. That's so true. You have a point there. You have a point there. When you're disagreeing, you can say, I don't think so. I don't think so. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. I totally disagree. I totally disagree. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. That's not always true. That's not always true. Listening. Homework in New Zealand. What are your thoughts on homework? My son goes to primary school in New Zealand and he never gets given any homework. The way I see it, homework is important. I believe it helps kids review what they've learned in class. Some people say kids should study at school, and after school they should just play and spend time with their whānau. But I beg to differ. If you ask me, a little bit of homework is a good thing. People say it puts pressure on children, but as far as I'm concerned, it's all about finding the right balance. Maybe just 10 or 15 minutes a day, nothing too full on. How do you feel about that? Do you agree? Because I've had chats with other parents and they've said, you have a point there. But others are like, I don't think so. Kids are under enough pressure already. Everyone's different, I guess. But at the end of the day, I think a bit of homework can't hurt. Useful words and phrases. Whānau. Whānau. It means family in Māori language. It's all about finding the right balance. It's all about finding the right balance. It's all about means the most important thing is. To find the right balance means to be happy with things. A little of something good, a little of something bad, just right. Nothing too full on. Nothing too full on. Full on is a New Zealand and Australian word for extreme or intense or very hard. I've had chats with other parents. I've had chats with other parents. To have a chat with someone is the same as to chat to someone. Others are like. To be like is the same as say. It's used in speaking a lot. I was like, hello. Mum is always like, how are you? They were like, hi, good to see you. But at the end of the day, we say this at the end of a long story to give our most important opinion. At the end of the day, what matters most is you are safe. At the end of the day, what matters most is I got a new job. Speaking. Auckland is a great place to live. Hamilton is much cheaper than Auckland. Wellington's weather is the worst in New Zealand. Christchurch is the most affordable city in New Zealand.